disc going down her arm. She goes, you know, I go to the ER, they shoot me up with pain medicine and send me home. And she goes, if Ken didn't work, I don't know what I'd do because she can't work. And she got on the list for an MRI, 9 months. Now, I could take any one of you right now in the Quad Cities, and if you come into my office at 9 o'clock in the morning, if I needed that MRI done, I could have it done by 4. You know, I'm not going to abuse it and just say, well, let's just get it done to see. But if it was an emergency, I could get it done. I had a lady who was a patient of mine that came to the hospital for a stroke. She was visiting family here. Her son and daughter, they were from Canada. He works at John Deere. She comes here to the hospital with stroke. So I said, let's get a CT scan, and the people on the thing, we have to get it cleared by Canadian Health, whatever. I said, we're not in Canada. I want that CAT scan done today. You know, so we got it right away. I'm not going to wait and call somebody from Canada to get the authorization to get a CT scan. And then I found out the reason why it was so important to get that CAT scan done was a year ago, almost on an anniversary, she had a brain hemorrhage in Canada. She laid in the hospital for 3 days before they got a CAT scan on her head. I mean, that's unheard of. You know, and in Americans, this is what makes our country so much better and the greatest is when we expect things. And what's even better than that is we can deliver them. Just get the government out of the way. You know, it would be wonderful for me to see 25 to 28 patients a day. And I would be able to do that if I could cut this paperwork out. Big things that we see in neurology, especially when we see the growing amount of patients of Alzheimer's or Parkinson's disease, is these new treatments that we have. Parkinson's disease, we have a treatment we call a deep brain stimulator. We put a wire down in the head, and like a little pacemaker, we can adjust it. You can change a person's life. Well, under the ObamaCare, there's going to be increased taxes on that now. They're going to tax the medical companies that make pacemakers, deep brain stimulators. It's going to limit care. And like I said, if you're 85 years old and you're in a wheelchair and don't know who anybody is, we're not going to do major surgery. And at that time, keep you comfortable. But if you're functional at 90, let's do everything you can. I mean, everybody knows how much they love their grandparents, their mothers, their fathers, their daughters. Life is precious. We can't look at us as numbers, and we're not dollars and cents. So one thing that we have to do, as Steve and Bobby and Rich said, I mean, I'm on the county board in Mercer County. I hate politics, but I had to force myself because nobody else would. And I'll tell you, I'm glad I did, because our county is going down the tubes. And I think we're probably almost as bad as the whole state. But everybody has to get involved, even at that level. I don't want to make a career of this. I'd like to be a farmer, but that's not going to happen. But we all got to get involved. Tell your neighbors. You got to make sure that Obama doesn't get reelected, because as Steve was saying, if they legislate at the bench, changing of that Supreme Court will ruin this country. Because you've seen it in other countries. In 1932, when Adolf Hitler took over, how it was taken over. I mean, all they have to do is get 2 more liberal judges in there, and they'll say, no, the Second Amendment didn't mean the public. Freedom of speech meant only this. Freedom of religion meant that. That is what's so important with this. But within medicine, Margaret Thatcher told Ronald Reagan back when he was president that she wished she could have changed her country like he did the United States. And the one thing that she blamed, the reason she couldn't, was the nationalized health care. So it's very important, and especially with the physicians, you don't want to sit there and every time you go to the doctor see a different doctor. Because when you lose that relationship, you just lose quality. So I'd like to thank you today, and everybody else that's been here, and get out and make sure that we definitely take over everywhere this November. Thanks.